okay, I planned everything, I put money into it, and suddenly, a pandemic came. The, complete, this I'm talking about one of my very close friend who invested in three, beauty salons and put lot of money into it completely. And many people know beauty salons were affected a lot. So for months it was locked down, and the person had taken loans to, so she immediately said, "See, it's such a bad luck for me that this happened." But then I had to tell her it has happened for everybody. Okay. So how would we define such things,
I would say, if you ask me, if you ask me personally, it's a combination of luck, but it's also a combination of having done the wrong things. I'll tell you why. Now, people might disagree with me here. Before we go on, let me just answer the example that you talked about. It is luck because she started the business right before the pandemic, and we all know how difficult it is to start businesses in the first place. Anybody who started a business, which because you have been a fellow businessman earlier, so anybody who's actually done business in the past knows how difficult it is. But the first 2 or 3 years are even more difficult. The first 2 or 3 years में क्या होता है कि you're trying to find a business model. We are not like NTAB, or we are not like a big company or anyone who has a predictable profitable model right now. A startup has no business model. They have no way to actually learn how to make money. And if something wrong happens in the first 1 or 2 or 3 years, the chances are they're going to shut down. But I'll tell you where she went wrong with the planning. She took a loan on an untested business idea. There is where she went wrong in her planning. You never take a loan on an untested business idea. You only take loans when the business idea is proven. You know that the cash flow is predictable. Then you may take a loan. But on an unproven new business idea, you might say, okay, salons are not a new business idea. But for her, if she's a startup, then for her, a salon is a new business idea.
So
Yeah,
this
oh,
person
sorry.
is already employed in a bank in a very senior position. So she took this investment in her husband's name. So it is, so there was a capital in place. Okay, she's already working in a very senior position, and you cannot have dual employment, dual income when you're working. So she had taken it in her husband's name, licensed. But suddenly this COVID happened. Nobody, see, many of us, you and me, where we were affected one way or the other because of COVID. Okay. So my question is very simple here, Anubhavji. What if when she told me I'm so unlucky? Of course, I had told her that everybody is unlucky for that matter, because this affected the whole world. It is not only you and me. So,
I'll tell you why. Again,
basically,
let me see, Sarah.
huh,
Here's the thing.
huh,
Here's the thing.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
anybody is the first biggest mistake that she did. See, COVID is not in her hands. Starting a business just before it, COVID not in her hands. Complete luck. That is complete luck. What was in her hand was not to take. See, just because you've done 20 years of work as an employee does not mean that you know everything about business. Anybody who knows business, in the beginning, they have to basically conserve your capital. You cannot take, and if you take a loan on an untested business idea, we already know that 90% of businesses fail, but 100% of the times you have to pay the loan. Are you getting me? 90% of business ideas fail, 95% of business ideas fail, but 100% of times you have to pay the loan back. So where she went wrong was she took a loan to start her venture. She made it more capital intensive. Perhaps she might have even bought stuff instead of renting it. Perhaps she might have gone the saloon at the most expensive of areas. There she might have gone wrong. So what I'm saying is that when COVID hit, if she had done her research properly, her losses would have been limited. She would not have been burdened by the loans. Anyway,
Yeah.
new startup starting before the pandemic, chances are 90%, 98% chances are that the new startup is going to shut down because of the COVID pandemic that happened, and yours was a new company, new brick and mortar company, not even a tech company. Where she went wrong was she did not do her financial planning properly. She should have never taken a loan on an untested business idea, because in the best of times, 90% of businesses fail, but 100% of the times you have to pay something on the loan. So, like giving my example, I just want to say that I am virtually debt free. So for me, it was not an issue. But did income stop? Did money coming in stop? Of course, it happened. There were many times, there were 6 months that I had no income, but I had savings for 4 or 5 years. I had no debt. So for me, it doesn't make a difference. You are planning. This is planning. I cannot control whether the income comes in next month or not, but I can make myself save for the next 3 or 4 years through my savings, through my investments, and by being debt free. So यहाँ होती planning. This is what I'm talking about.